It is quite a bit like talking to two gay guys or two communists in the 1950s. You really, if you reveal your identity, you will almost certainly be blackballed, will you not?
Yeah, it's certainly a possibility. I mean, I think both of us and other members of our team have large corporate clients who, if they saw that we were producing this film, would gently let us know that they found somebody else to handle the aspects of the film industry that we're involved in. And kind of like you said, our experience certainly is that we have to have hushed conversations with those that we share ideologies with,
Mm-hmm.
because otherwise it creates very uncomfortable situations.
Yeah. Is that comport with your experience, A? Do you think that you would be blackballed going forward?
Yeah, well, the thing about Los Angeles, Hollywood is that all the cliches are true. It's all about who you know. It's all about constant communication. And I mean, the groupthink of Los Angeles is thick, and even just having it doesn't have to be very hardcore ideologies or and whatnot. It can just be just you just have an opinion on something that doesn't go with the main way of thinking, and you just sort of debate it lightly like you would anywhere else in the country, and you can pretty much correlate that to a lack of phone calls in the following months or so. Like you really notice that there's sort of purity tests in terms of the conversational subjects. Comes up early, sort of you feel like you're being sort of vetted, and you either have to kind of keep your mouth shut and or play a delicate game with diplomatic language. And yeah, and you notice that it really does affect how much you work, depending on how cautious you are. And it doesn't have to be anything terribly incendiary. It can just be they just want to know that you're fully in the tank.
So your movie that you're working on, a celebration of the Third Reich, that has nothing to do with it. Yeah, no, it's actually really, really astonishing that all you're doing is making a movie that is calling into question the policies enacted in response to a pandemic. And you will be blackballed, and you will be shut off of YouTube, and you will be ostracized socially, and at least in LA, in the circles you operate in. It's amazing that you are being treated essentially like homosexuals and communists were in the 1950s.
Yeah,
And you're not making a movie celebrating Hitler. You're making a movie that is critical of government policies toward a pandemic, which is a very ordinary thing to do. At least it used to be that kind of thing. There used to be a left that used to do just this, a left wing, right? The left wing used to do investigative, hard-hitting journalism and filmmaking on things like the Vietnam War and Watergate and all sorts of corporate corruption. And it was celebrated. And now it's not only not celebrated, it is not allowed. And they won't allow you to even have a career if you choose to do that. Am I overstating it?
I don't think so. Unfortunately, I was recently a couple of months back had a meeting for a project in LA, and there were a number of people in the room. Everybody was wearing masks, and there were a couple of people that I knew shared my perspective on this, being skeptical of the government policies. And we basically had to have our masked conversations over in corners, looking over our shoulders, making sure we weren't overheard saying that we think this is nonsense. And the fear was being doxxed, being exposed, and like you say, having significant career consequences as a result.
All right.